Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining us. Hope you are having a fantastic Saturday. Happy Day 3 of the NFL Draft, by the way, for those keeping up. But nonetheless, we are out here at the Wiregrass Sports Campus of Pasco County here in Wesley Chapel, Florida. I'm Billy Adams alongside my color analyst Mike Zanetti, and we are here at the HoopSeen Florida Jam showcasing some middle, elementary, high school talent for some state qualifiers that are set to be determined by the end of tomorrow. It is 2 days of constant basketball, and we are excited to take you along. This is game number 2. We had a game earlier with a couple of 5th grade squads. It was a 58-15 action-packed game. Not a lot to discuss there other than a Tampa Bay squad of 5th graders that was absolutely dominant in game number 1. But right now, Mike, we are already starting off hot and heavy. A little bit of defense coming from this Tampa Bay squad alongside this really prowess Florida Ranch squad. As you see, getting a little dicey here in the paint.
Very vocal by the bench, too. You can see they are into this game.
So a couple cuts, couple chips, and already Tampa Bay on the board. That's Jason D'Angelo, folks, not D'Angelo. Not D'Angelo, it is Jason D'Angelo. So he gets the first basket, or excuse me, second basket for this Tampa Bay squad. Florida Rain looking to get on the board for the first time. That shot off the mark. The board fighting for it, maybe, and getting it back somehow the other way. That was Jeremiah Cooper. A dish, and that shot just off the mark. That was Andre Willis. It's back the other way, so a couple missed opportunities for the Rain. Tampa now with a chance to capitalize. Again, fighting for it, and despite the missed shots, I mean, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. These kids are playing with a lot of energy.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's what you look for in these types of tournament games, especially with state qualifiers coming up. But, I mean, both these teams playing good defense, and that's what you want to see. Open shots, it's been some good looks. But overall, just playing basketball, right? Having fun.
And that was the one thing we were really impressed with the tournament the first time in the month of March, I think, is you always wonder with kids that are younger and up and coming, what is the effort going to be like? You know, what are they going to show when it comes to playing? Because some people would look at this and say, oh, why does it matter? You know, it is a state qualifier, but some people are going to look at themselves as not being actual qualifiers. But every single game I felt like we had last time of the 18, everybody was playing with a purpose. Everybody was playing for something. And even right here, it looks like they're playing for something. Looks like we got a foul. Jeremiah Cooper's going to get a trip to the line, and we will wait for that foul call. 14:07 remains here in half number one. And it looks like is going to go on Jason D'Angelo, his first. So D'Angelo credited with the foul. That's the first team foul. And now going to the line for the first time is Jeremiah Cooper, trying to and successfully getting his team on the board for the first time. Now, as we mentioned, this Florida Rain squad, got to credit who is currently on the floor right now. It's Zach Spinzola, along with Giovanni Andrews, number 24, and Andre Willis. At the line is Jeremiah Cooper, along with Austin McDonald. That is your Florida Rain squad. Coming back the other way is your Tampa Bay squad, as they're already wasting about just 2 seconds off of what is a non-existent shot clock. That was Zarrell Thomas. So it's Thomas, Jason D'Angelo, Jerry Moore, Grayson Beasley, and Amir Rothor on the floor. Driving and getting to the paint successfully was Austin McDonald. So McDonald gets the and one opportunity. We will await the foul call with 13:46, and it's a tie ball game. That foul credited to Grayson Beasley.
See, Tampa Bay's a little frustrated with that call. It's a little bit of a late whistle, but, I mean, he still got him on the arm, so a good drive. You've seen a lot of man-to-man from this defense, and that's a nice little three-point play right there.
And got to credit, too, I mean, Austin McDonald, we can already see it. One thing you cannot teach in basketball is size. And he has a little bit of size when it comes to weight compared to these other kids. So using that to his ability with the strength we've already seen, going to be something to keep an eye on, especially when it comes to this Tampa squad of defending it. Here's a drive, putting it up, and somehow putting it in. The left right-hander from Zach Spinzola.
And quickly a 7-0 run after the 4-0 Tampa lead.
A 7-0 run. He's playing with a brace on his knee, too, practically that entire right leg, and he's still moving around, shifty. Spinzola still getting it through 2 defenders. How about this, a 3-on-1? There's a whistle, no. And just missing off the mark there was Andre Willis. Driving, putting it up and putting it in. It's Amir Rothor.
Nice little Euro step.
Beautiful Euro step. Rothor taking some notes. Back the other way we go. The Reign, as Mike mentioned, they had a 7-0 run. The long draining three from Andre Willis on the mark, and it's a 10-6 ball game.
That's a good stretch for this Reign team. I mean, what are you looking for if you're going to try and bounce back? You go down 4-0. How about 10 points right out there?
An interesting thing to note here, too, I mean, we've seen Jeremiah Cooper get hot early with Andre Willis. They're leaving Cooper open, surprisingly giving him plenty of space when it comes to that left wing. And here we go. It's Willis in tandem with Cooper. Once again, a three just off the mark. It was hitting the back iron. In transition we go, going up and just off the glass. That was Jason D'Angelo.
And Moore is hurt. You can see he's hobbled up for the Tampa Bay team.
Might be something to watch here. Could injuries play a factor as the day goes on? Again, that 3-2 strong. There's the offensive board, but a nice block there coming on the Tampa Bay squad. That was Grayson Beasley.
He cannot play. I would just say go down.
That one too strong. Beasley going up, gets his own miss, and finally going up and finishing was Zarrell Thomas, and I think we got a foul. No correction, we got a timeout on the floor. And already, folks, a back-and-forth affair. We've seen Jason D'Angelo get hot. We've seen Andre Willis and Jeremiah Cooper working together. But, Mike, one thing I've already noticed in this game, we're 4 minutes in, but they are not wasting any time getting in the basket. If there was a shot clock in this game, it would not matter because they're taking about 5 seconds per possession.
That's how you score, though. You got to go on the fast break. You got to push the tempo, and especially when you have an injured kind of player out there and more. And I love how he's fighting through the pain. But if you could just go down and take that whistle, sub yourself out, because he couldn't play any defense. He was trying to just make his way up and down the floor. But they're able to score. It was just a lot of missed shots. There were open, good shots for Tampa, but they got to try and stay a little more consistent and try and find their tempo inside the paint. And a lot of what this Florida Reign team is doing is just pushing the ball inside, just going quick, fast pace. So if they could match that tempo, it could be for a high-scoring affair.
And I guess when you have a guy with the size of Austin McDonald here, this is a varsity squad, but still doesn't look like he's maybe a 9th or 10th grader. He looks like a senior out there playing against 9th or 10th graders. So using that to his advantage right now. He's got a couple offensive boards already in this contest as this Florida Reign team looking, but instead it's Rothor going up, going in, and finishing is Amir Rothor. He didn't have to Euro step that time, just simply used his length. Here we go, back the other way, this Reign team. McDonald spinning, using the footwork. How about Austin McDonald?
Trading buckets back and forth.
Did not have to use any strength, instead pure skill. That one off the mark. The offensive rebound just short there. That was Jerry Moore. So coming back the other way, trying to keep it in play. The long three there from Andrews. And the first shot from Giovanni Andrews is off the mark. He won't be hard to miss with that blonde top of hair. 10:51 remains now here in half number one. Again, a back and forth affair. The last tournament, folks, it took a couple games before we really saw some peak action. We are not missing anything right now. 12-10 here. And remember, it was a 4-0 nothing start for Tampa Bay, a 7-0 run capitalized by the Florida Reign, and now everybody's just trading baskets. We've had a couple from Austin McDonald. We've had a couple from Amir Rothor. That could be the matchup, folks. You would think in a fast-paced tempo game, the guards would be at play. It's the big men that are really showing out so far.
Florida Reign got off to a little bit of a slow start, but you see now they kind of got this half-court trap going, and it's definitely interesting to look at. No, little steal.
One thing to note, too, is top of the key going up and going in. I think that's Richard Harris who checked in. We don't have a number 10 on the Florida Reign roster, but it's either him or Keyshawn Andrews. We'll get that to you momentarily. Nonetheless, though, still on the floor and still doing work is Amir Rothor. He ties this ball game up. We got some full court press coming from Jerry Moore. Going up, Rothor nearly took it away, and Spinazzola's getting it back. Working up top. The Reign driving, kicking, and finding his way to the basket was Bastian, but not before he was fouled.
It's good ball movement. You got to move it around, and there were some open shots, but now this is where the tempo is starting to pick up. You have the start of the game. Things are kind of slowing up. You get your started. You get your feet wet. Now they're in a group. Both teams are feeling it. You got a full court press, half court press. Both teams are pushing it fast paced, so it's just a matter of who wants it more.
And you love this about this kind of level of basketball because we have a number 10 on the Florida Reign who we don't have on the roster, and Even better, we have a man in the black shirt who doesn't even have a number. So folks, and the parents watching, and the relatives watching, we apologize if we don't say names. We just don't necessarily have those names. So we got the man in the black shirt and number 10 for Florida Rain, but we'll make sure we try and get those names at some point. That name, though, was Jason D'Angelo. He's off the mark. Transition coming. Spinazzola putting it up. Oh, and nearly putting it in was our man in the 10. Back the other way we go. Thomas up top. Driving and kicking and finishing was Zarrell Thomas. Spinazzola in transition going up. Kicking it in the middle. Bastian can't get a hold. Tampa Bay coming back. The black shirt back the other way. Spinazzola steps up, throws it up, and finding the rim is Spinazzola. The open three for the man with the brace. 17-15 is your score. So we do have confirmation. Brooks Couch coming off the couch and coming off the bench. He's got the black shirt on. Spinazzola, he had that last three, looking to get another. That brace not slowing him down. I was about to say nearly fouled, and he does get fouled, and that should be 2 shots, and it will be on our man, Amir Rothor.
Just a little contact on the arm. You got to call it. He got in there. He got hit on the arm.
Strong finish between 2 defenders. I mean, you do have to expect it at this point. So it was a nice finish there for Spinazzola, despite not being able to finish the basket itself. He does get to the line, and again, really impressive stuff so far. You would think with a brace like that, I mean, I remember, I'm a Pistons fan, and I remember watching Blake Griffin in 2019 with a brace like that, basically lead a charge against the Milwaukee Bucks. And, you know, they didn't win the series, but he was playing on one leg and still averaged 30 points a game. Here we go, though, a steal and a transition going up, and somehow finishing. We're going to call him Keyshawn Andrews, because I think that's who it is. Has a 0-1 on the roster, but it is a 10, so it could be in reverse. Nonetheless, we'll call him Keyshawn Andrews until we have confirmation otherwise. 19-15 is your score. Zarrell Thomas trying to cut in. That's too strong. Brooks Couch with the rebound. They get it back. Zarrell Thomas finishing, and somehow the spin, and you're in. Zarrell Thomas taking contact from 2 defenders. Harris, Andrews for 3. Andrews finishing, and it is a 22-17 ball game.
It's a very competitive back and forth action in basketball.
Thomas trying to respond. He had a couple of those early. Can't get that one on the mark. Out of bounds. And we thought it was going to go back with Tampa, but it's going to go back with Florida. And it looks like Amir Rothor is going to get some time on the bench, and now checking in, it looks to be Dwayne Pinckey.
Still less than 8 minutes now, so see how both teams can adjust now. Half-court trap.
First opportunity now for the Rain to really extend their lead. Largest lead now is 5. Kicking it out in the corner. Another newly check-in is Titus Barker. He can't get that one up. Thomas going to take it back. Thomas driving. It's a 3-on-2 despite the disadvantage. And it just went off the foot, I think, of Keyshawn Andrews. We've seen a lot of work from Zarrell Thomas. He's not really wasting any time, whether it's going in the paint or going on the outside. And already we see Amir Rothor checking back in alongside Grayson Beasley. He'll check in. Jerry Moore checks out along with Gavin Dean, who recently checked in. 7:35 remains here in half number 1 of game number 2. Again, we are at the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus of Pasco County. It's the HoopSeen Florida Jam. Billy Adams alongside Mike Zanetti. Game 2 action-packed so far against this Tampa Bay and Florida Rain squad. A 4-0 lead early for Tampa, but Florida Rain has since capitalized and has a chance to extend on what is a 5-point lead. Andrews goes up and does just that. 24-17 is your score.
It's been tough to guard this team, especially when they get going. So a little dribble inside, off the glass, and somebody's got to step up. I think more aggressive on defense for a sense of urgency, if you would, for Tampa Bay. The half-court press is kind of doing it.
It's doing wonders, Mike, and Keyshawn Anderson's checking in. He's got 8 points in 3 minutes. He's really cooking it up, and he might have just gotten called for the foul, as I mentioned that. So already we're getting some contact with Keyshawn Andrews, and actually they're going to call it on Harris. So Andrews may have been bailed out there as Richard Harris picks up the foul. As far as we know, that is the first team foul coming on the side of the Florida Rain.
Well, that's the thing, Billy. You see the Florida Rain, they've kind of stepped it up defensively, and it's been harder for Tampa to score after those first 2 buckets and going up 4-0. So now it's just a matter of how can you match offense with offense, play a good defense, and stop this Florida Rain offense, because it's been so hard to stop them from getting inside just from how big they are size-wise. So got to try and stop the drive, keep them on the outside, move the ball, make them make a mistake.
It's an excellent point, too, because we saw Tampa so strong early on transition, but once that transition's cut out of play, the effectiveness of their offense seems to lack, as Couch there misses that opportunity. An offensive board, though, coming for Barker. He might have kept it alive, and it should stay with the Rain. I believe no. It's going to go back to Tampa. But nonetheless, that's a key point there, because we saw early Rothor was working well on the inside, but that came at the hands of Zarrell Thomas being able to push the tempo. And now the Florida Rain have found a way to effectively stop that. However, this is a chance for the adjustment on the Tampa side. What will they do with a stagnant offense, as you see already trying to work inside? Dean can't get a hold, and the Rain are coming back now with Barker.
I like the idea, just a little too aggressive. Try and keep it simple on the outside.
Nice closeout there. The step back coming. Andrews nearly had that one, but Rothor with the nice defensive pressure. Thomas back the other way. He's guarded by Couch working. Dean open for 3, and that was good from just about anywhere.
That was crucial. Put him down 2, and now here comes a defensive possession.
That's one of those game-changing buckets depending on the circumstances. Couch wanted a foul and instead traveled just a bit too much. It'll go back the other way in a 2-point contest.
It was contact, but he took that extra step through, so official sees that. A little bit of a game here.
Little bit of a game here, indeed. That's one of those things, too, where like you just need to hold your legs just a little bit longer to take some pressure. But Brooks Couch will try to get that one back. Now, that's a huge opportunity. We saw a big basket and a big stop. What can Tampa do as we see a 3? That one just short. And now the Florida Rain have a chance to reset. Here's Willis with Andrews working. Up top, it's Cooper. He was hot early, got back off the bench. And back the other way, Cooper in his spot on the left wing. That long 3 coming, and that long 3 made by Giovanni Andrews.
Absolutely cashed. I mean, he had a little bit of space, but now another turnover.
Another turnover, the Florida Rain, and another one. Bit of patty cake. Oh, and that one was an open opportunity for Beasley. And I think Rothor just threw that a bit too strong towards the stands.
3 turnovers in like 8 seconds. That was crazy.
I mean, it's kind of like that overtime game we had last month where we saw, I think it was 8 points in the matter of like 10 seconds or something like that. So, I mean, the momentum can get going here in the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus. Cooper working outside. There's the big man. He's got some range. Austin McDonald's got some range. Oh, you love to see it at 10 o'clock in the morning. Versatility from the big man. Oh, and keeping that alive. How about it? D'Angelo trying to. Beasley gets the offensive board. Fighting. He's got 3 defenders. Surrounded by a swarm of Florida Rain, folks. Boy, the rain will get going early here if the humidity allows, and already the Florida Rain just drenching over this Tampa squad.
I'll tell you one thing, Billy. It got to a close game, and immediately you see the Rain go from a half-court press to a full-court press.
Oh, my
and the
goodness.
pressure is just there. When they're in a close game, they know what they got to do, and they turned it up.
They are absolutely turning it on, and again, a torrential downpour maybe in the forecast, 30-22. This is the largest lead for the Rain. A response much needed right now with 4 minutes remaining for this Tampa squad. Gonna have to work through Rothor here. As you see, they are implementing him in just about every single possession. Here's a drive, and kind of stuck and stagnant was Jason D'Angelo. Here's a rare opportunity. The Rain could capitalize and have a 10-point advantage. Going up. Oh, and nearly finishing on the other end was Willis. They tried to get fancy. Oh, and that is a carry. Going up to the airplane and trying to carry his luggage was Rothor. Very awkward, but got to credit Keyshawn Andrews. That was a nice stop at half court.
I think you could see that from the sky, but definitely a good defensive possession in terms of making him. He was going to go behind the back, and then he couldn't put the ball on the ground, so that's going to be a carry.
That's one of those small moments, too. Andrew stepped left just a little bit enough to stop his momentum with the dribble. A huge basket. That's 2 threes now in his last 2 coming from Giovanni Andrews.
Andrews has been that kind of guy who just can nail a three anywhere on the court.
Boy, if this were the early 2000s, Slim Shady would be proud. And how about a jam and a dish coming? That's Keyshawn Andrews. Boy, he is stamping his mark of approval in this game. We had a back and forth affair, and all of a sudden, 35-22. It's a 12-0 run coming for this Florida Rain squad. We still have 3 minutes left, folks. It is anybody's ball game here in the first half, but the Florida Rain are coming on.
Like you said, if the rain gets going, it's hard to stop it. And a travel. They've been able to play hardcore defense, force a lot of turnovers, and it's just Tampa Bay is going backwards.
This is where as a younger high school athlete, that headspace can start to flog up just a little bit. Boy, I thought Andrews nearly had a third three coming in that corner, but another turnover. Andrews feeding, and Andrews finishing. Keyshawn Andrews with the emphatic jam. Oh my goodness. Andrews to Andrews. Can you believe it? That is a grown man slam happening at 10 o'clock in the morning on the east coast of Florida. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I did not think that was going to happen.
Wow. I thought it was going to be a simple land.
He put him on a poster.
Oh my gosh. This is high school basketball.
That was crazy.
I didn't know high school could do that.
I mean, you could
what
see
in the world?
You definitely dunk. You put the two-hand down right before that dunk, but the lob up, I was like, he'll probably try and lay it. No, he absolutely slams it home, and oh my goodness.
I mean, gosh, Orlando's very own Austin Rivers had a mixtape once that was ranked as the greatest mixtape ever. I don't know, somebody get Keyshawn Andrews' mixtape out.
It's hard to have words after that.
Oh my goodness, as that one goes out of bounds, and again, the Rain are just having every little thing go their way. And really, it's thanks to number 10 and Keyshawn Andrews. Since he got on the floor, they have outscored Tampa 24-6 since he got on the floor. I mean, Keyshawn Andrews is doing it all. He's got 12 points of those 24 in that advantage. And we still have 2:51 remaining in this half, a 16-point lead. And again, any lead at this point for the Florida Rain is going to be their largest as they continue to move forward. As it looks like the refs might be discussing.
Put that on a highlight reel, first of all. We got to go back to that.
I was about to say, we need a little bit of a highlight reel. If you're the family of Keyshawn Andrews, they might be wanting one.
That dunk was insane. I mean, you can't script that. I mean, that's awesome. Awesome.
No, and I mean, Andrews to Andrews, I don't even think they're related, but they got the chemistry there. Oh, as Javani Andrews nearly got that one to fall. He really wanted a 20-point lead that they are inching closer to. 16 is the advantage. Tampa needs anything to respond, and they get it. That's a huge basket from Jason D'Angelo. Thought it was going to be a three. They do count it as a two, so foot was on the line. 14 points is the advantage. Need a couple key stops here for Tampa to make this a game going into the second half.
So a little bit of an adjustment defensively for Tampa. Got a 3-2 action. So top of that defense, they're kind of alternating in between 2-3 and 3-2.
A little bit of 3-2 here. How will Florida respond? Right now, they are moving it effortlessly, and they are able to execute 17-point advantage. The third three of the morning already coming from Javani Andrews.
How you beat the zone, you move the ball around, find an open three, and they drilled it.
Doing a nice job, nearly losing it there, but getting it back was Jerry Moore. Here comes Cooper, though. Willis working down, and Andre Willis gets in the basket. It's a 19-point advantage.
Just effortlessly just putting it up and in.
I mean, once they get the steals, that's their 9th steal of the half already. Once they get these steals, they are able to get down court so fast. As I was about to say, I mean, he was just tiptoeing that line. That was Amir Rothor.
This defensive strategy in terms of the way they move this trap, they go, whether you move the ball left to right, right to left, it's a movement in terms of how they trap you. So you got 3 guys up front. Wherever the ball moves, 2 guys are going to bombard you. So you got to move the ball quickly to get across half court. And Tampa has struggled to do just that.
And the impressive thing, too, is they haven't even had to use the man we see in McDonald. McDonald is playing back and still able to press, yet he's not having to press immediately at half court, as it looks like we have a foul on the floor. So the Tampa squad's going to pick up their 5th, and that was on Zarrell Thomas, his 2nd of the afternoon,
For the first
or in this
half,
case, the morning.
For the first half of the first, it was kind of a good, back and forth game. Tampa was able to limit the damage, and now it's just gotten out of hand to where Florida Rain, you could just see the offensive firepower. Not only that, but just defense to offense, the points off turnovers, the points off fast breaks. That's what's going to win you this game, and it's been a lot of turnovers for this Tampa Bay team.
And points off of turnovers, you mentioned, it's a 20-point advantage. The points off of turnovers, 18 points off of turnovers for the Florida Rain in this first half. An impressive feat we do not see too often in terms of how a team is capable of taking advantage of such a good defensive effort. We noted at the beginning of this game, both teams were pushing transition very quickly, but since then we saw an adjustment from the Florida Rain, putting in Keyshawn Andrews and even Brooks Couch coming in momentarily to give McDonald some breathing room. Don't know what Keyshawn Andrews brought to the table on the defensive side, but it has been so effective and so key right now in this 21-point advantage. And now they can just hold it for however long they want. 20 seconds remain here in the first half, and they're just taking their time. Working through the zone, and open McDonald from three. No surprise, he's got it.
I mean, you can just see how in rhythm this team is. They all know what they're doing. They're all out. Let's move the ball around. Let's take our time. They were so calm and collected. It's just been crazy offense for the Rain.
And still impressive, Mike. They are full court pressing despite being up by 24 points. We also have to mention there still is the rule in place. If a team is up by 20 with a couple minutes remaining, that will end the game. So nonetheless, we got 4 minutes until the second half. 48-24 is your score. Still a lot of basketball to be played.
They want that U.S. Amateur State Championship, that's for sure.
And remember, that's what these teams are playing for. We'll get you more info on that when we come back. But nonetheless, Billy Adams alongside Mike Zanetti, a lot of basketball folks here on the Florida Athletics Network, and we are bringing that to you after this break right here.
Depending on where this finds you, hello, good morning, fret not, tap in. But most important, believe in yourself, always stand for something. Give it everything you got and make no assumption. Shall we proceed to the top with it? Let it run. Shall we proceed to the top with it? Come on, Otis.
ladies and gentlemen, we are back in action again. A quick halftime break. Hope you got your drink, your snacks, and I hope you're settled down because
I got my popcorn.
We've got a good game so far. It is 48-24, but we saw this hoop squad, this TB21 hoop squad, get off to a hot start early, so it can certainly happen again. But the Florida Rain team in controls. Already we see a foul on the other side. It is Justin Vasquez, who he's checked in for the first time in this ball game. He'll grab the foul, but already the Florida Rain team wasting no time and energy trying to get to the basket, Mike, trying to replicate that successful first half.
It's a similar starting five for the Rain as well. They had Spenzola sub out later in that half, and then Javon Andrews just went to work. So what was working for them last time, they just decided to go with the same half.
So right now, some key players getting rest. McDonald not on the floor. Andrews, as you mentioned, not on the floor. And the other Andrews, and Keyshawn Andrews, who was instrumental in that 24-6 run, he is not on the floor either. As you see, the man in black himself and Brooks Couch, unfortunately unable to save that. But nonetheless, this is what could be key too. I want to make note, these kids are playing more than just one game. So it could be an opportunity for some kids to get more playing time they don't typically do, some other sets to be run, and for some key players to take a break, take a breather, and maybe get themselves ready for the next game. However, an opportunity now for Tampa maybe to get on the board as that shot's just off the mark. Jason D'Angelo had a hot start in the first half, but just went cold as we see Spinazzola. Boy, he had plenty of rest. He did not play the last 5 minutes of that first half. I know he's fresh. So here we go. Thomas. We saw him spinning a couple times in the first half. Surprised he's not dizzy enough. And he should be able to go to the line for two. And we got a call coming on Josiah Bastian. So Bastian, he played a couple minutes in that first half, sat down for predominantly majority of the second half of that first half, and he will grab the foul. It's the first team foul coming for the Florida Rain. Thomas nails that first effort. He's got 6 points this morning, and so far one team foul apiece in the half for these two teams. Second opportunity, and it is on the mark there for Thomas, a 26-50 ball game. Now remember, folks, 20 points, and you can call it at the 2-minute mark of this game. So we'll wait to see, is it 11 more minutes? Is it 13 more minutes? Up top, it's Spinazzola. He's guarded by Thomas. A little bit of a slower tempo. We're seeing this is about the longest possession I think we've seen the Florida Rain keep the ball. Interesting to see. Spinazzola, wide open, deep three. Off the top end. Rothor, Brooks Couch takes it right from him, and Brooks Couch is going to go to the line.
Love the aggressiveness there. Just why not grab the rebound? I thought it was going to be a jump ball. Just stole it from him like him stealing candy from a baby.
My
just
goodness.
Took it right from him, put it right up. Got the foul, right? 2 shots.
I mean, if you've seen any early 2000s comedy with a bully stealing lunch money, I mean, that's exactly what Brooks Couch was doing. I mean, it was weird. I think Rothor just expected to take it down and take it up court, but Couch was there, and he wasted no time. It's the man in black himself, going to keep referencing that just because he doesn't have a jersey number. Brooks Couch doesn't have a basket, but does have 4 offensive rebounds and a couple steals, and he does not get on the board, and Beasley gets that board, and with 12 minutes remaining, Tampa just needs a basket. Working up top. See, once again, 3-2 coming, as you mentioned in the first half, Mike. They are still working with that 3-2 is the Florida Rain. Some nice closeouts coming. Rothor not working inside, instead on the outside. Here's a drive and a good take, but just too strong with Jason D'Angelo.
That's good defense, too. That's what you're looking to do if you're the Florida Rain. You want to force those shots, and they've got them there. So, again, good. It was an open look, but they've done their job in terms of moving the ball enough.
Boy, that was a close carry call there, and somehow getting that to fall on the other side. That was Titus Parker.
And that's the thing. This Florida Rain team has just been better. They're shooting the ball. They've been so good. We were talking about halftime, but just reminded me of the Gary Trent.
And that might be the easiest basket we see coming from Justin Vasquez. And you mentioned we were talking about at halftime, we waited for Gary Trent to come to life all game long as some contact coming there from the Florida Rain side. A nice offensive board coming from Bastian. Spinazzola, no doubt about it. You heard his team with the 3-point chant. And the man with the brace, excited as he is, puts his team up by now 28 points. That lead continuing to extend.
I just don't know how many threes they have, but they have to be at least above 60%. I mean, they shot so many good shots, and they just haven't missed. They just look like they haven't missed out there, so I don't know what to expect.
I mean, we have lost track of the number.
10 or 12 maybe.
I mean, it's got to be 12 or 13 at this point. As we see a couple substitutions coming, we'll get you those in just a second. No surprise.
The Stars that finished out the last half.
So no surprise, it seems like the same routine coming with about 10 and a half remaining. Some new substitutions coming in for this Florida Range squad. How about a heat check from Spinazzola? Oh my goodness.
That was NBA range.
NBA range.
That's behind the line.
NBA range, college range. He's just making sure people can know he can shoot from everywhere. From everywhere, Spinazzola, despite having the brace, not having a hard time moving, scoring, doing anything. And Amir Rothor just gave that one away to Bastian.
See if he does it again.
Will he do it again?
No
he's
way.
going to. No way! Spinazzola putting on the heat check. It's not raining, but heating up here at the Wiregrass Sports Campus.
That was from the circle of half court.
That was from the circle of half court.
They get 8 steps behind the three-point line. And here
Zach Spinazzola, 3 consecutive threes for the point guard. Oh my word. And finally slowing down the pace. You can see he's not liking that. He is liking the hot hand though. He's got the hot hand. 9:25 remains. And again, to folks, reminder, with the score, it comes with a running clock. So don't be confused. The clock does continue to run with 9 minutes remaining. And boy, based on what Zach Spinazzola just did, I think it's going to keep running. That is just a heat check in itself. We saw Keyshawn Andrews responsible for the run in the first half, but it's all Zach Spinazzola here in the second half
He's
alone.
gonna stay in too. So
I mean, how could you take him out?
Everyone gets subbed out besides
How
Spinazzola.
could you take him out? Oh my goodness. So Keyshawn Andrews checks in. We got Jeremiah Cooper checking in. We thought Austin McDonald would be the one in charge, but he hasn't had to. He hasn't had to do too much. He's made a couple baskets, made a couple paint baskets, as you see Andrews trying to fight for that one.
But that's the thing, though, with Spinazzola. I mean, it's a good carbon copy of when you're feeling yourself, you're feeling it. So, as a former shooter myself, I can understand it completely. If you are going to feel it, you can step in the half court and just pull up. And sometimes you're that nice.
I mean, the interesting thing, too, it's ironic we talked about Gary Trent, because that's exactly who he was emulating in that moment. I mean, did not expect him to just keep moving back. I think he looked down. He's like, you know what? Maybe I should just try it from this distance. You know, why not? Give the people something to look forward to. I mean, could we see him do a half-court shot at some point? I'm curious.
And with that brace, I'm curious if he wears it all the time or if he's like battling back from an injury because he's got that compression sleeve. It's just interesting to me, the story of the brace. So I would like to look into that.
And the thing I want to note too, when he made that longer shot, Mike, he barely got off the ground too. That's the thing to note too. How much can he get off?
It was a pretty straight shot.
It was a pretty straight shot. Not a lot of arc to it, and he still, that follow-through he has is very nice. So again, 7.5 minutes remaining. Clock continues to run. It is a 33-point advantage, and no surprise, Spinazzola using a spin cycle of moves to get by. Spinazzola doing it all himself. He can do more than just shoot threes and nearly got that in. Here's McDonald. Too strong. Spinazzola, just too strong. Right place, right time, but can't finish.
That's a classic shooter's touch.
Dwayne Pinckey going back on the other end, trying to get it. Thomas going up over 2. Spinazzola catches it. Here's Willis. He's going to waste no time. McDonald, he wants a piece, and he's got it. Austin McDonald with the 3. 36-point advantage now. 64. Actually, they adjust the score 64-29. 35-point advantage. Thomas with 3. Too short, McDonald. And Spinazzola, and it looks like this is going to be the common commodity now for Florida. There's a kick out. They're going to take their time, maybe just play with their food just a little bit here in the second half. Spinazzola. Oh, and I think he got a late foul.
He definitely got hit on the end of that shot. Probably 2. He took one dribble in from the 3-point line. But
That's what it looked like here as we get the call. That's going to come on Gavin Dean.
oh, he's shooting 3.
And he's shooting 3. I saw the same thing, though. He stepped in. I thought it stepped into the 2-point range, but no, Spinazzola's going to get 3. Probably the easiest buckets of the day.
I think it's that red line he was behind, so he was definitely behind the 3.
So shout out to Spinazzola. He's got 16 points in this ball game. And again, he had 9 consecutive points a couple minutes ago from 3 consecutive threes. I mean, he was just playing a game of shoot around, just seeing where he could go, maybe mentally playing a game of around the world. You know, we all played that as kids at some point, just seeing where we could shoot from. And he makes all 3 of those, so it is a 67-29 advantage.
What a half for Spinazzola.
What a half indeed for Spinazzola. 5.5 minutes remain. Again, probably 3.5 more than likely. Can't see this one closing up anytime soon, as it looked like Jaquel Branch tried to keep it in. He does, and gives it right back to the Florida Rain. Andrews going up. And Andrews got some contact on his way up, and he should be going to the line. And we'll get Jason D'Angelo with the foul. So D'Angelo gets called for his second foul, and going to the line for the first time is Keyshawn Andrews. Under 5 minutes remain. Andrews trying to help his team get on the board by 40 potential points.
It's funny because it's like, what do you love more, the offense or the defense? To be able to hold Tampa to 29 points, they had 24 going into halftime, so that's only a 5-point swing, and they've been able to hold them to.
A 5-point swing, Mike, and still the impressive thing too is, you know, Florida's still been scoring, but they had 48 points in the first half. So it's a 20 to 5-point swing, and still they've only scored 20, but it feels like they've scored so much more, as they'll get a chance to score more here because McDonald's going back to the line. Nearing the 4-minute mark, McDonald, no surprise. I mean, everybody's just got that shooter's touch. I mean, you see the fundamentals just speaking volumes. It's not just the talent play from this Florida Rain team. They are honed in on what the fundamentals mean in the game of basketball. They're playing within their traps, playing within their reason, trapping well at half court, shooting when it's necessary too. It's like that Indiana style of basketball where you want to make 5 passes or more every time too. I mean, they're doing everything right here in this game. 70-29, a 41-point advantage. And again, just reaching in and taking it away was Keyshawn Andrews. Tampa just trying to get back on the board. Andrews taking it away. He's got Willis meeting him, slamming, and Andrews might have been called and does get called for a travel. Bit surprising there. It looks like a routine dunk, but nonetheless, with a little over a minute remaining, Andrews going to send it back, and Tampa might have a chance to score.
He did have 3 steps, but I feel like it looked pretty sweet. I mean,
well, I mean, we've seen so many plays, NBA-wise, too. I mean, there's so many calls where there are 3 steps that just aren't actually called. Tampa, though, finally getting back on the board. 7 points now here in the second half.
They should just make the rule 2 3 steps.
I mean, you may as well. Give some people some leeway. Here's Giovanni Andrews. That one looked good, but was short. Back the other way we go. Tampa trying to get back on the board. And Andrews taking that one away from what looked to be Dwayne Pinckey, as 30 seconds now remains here in this contest. Remember, folks, it was a tie ball game at the 8-minute mark in the first half. And since then, it has been all Florida Rain. Rain in threes, rain in dunks. I assume this one, nonetheless, is going to be a slam, and probably the stamp of approval coming from Andre Willis.
That time he made sure. He went 1, 2, 1-hand slam.
And there's a 3. Getting herself on the board there was Dwayne Pinckey. And no surprise there at the 2-minute mark. That is going to be the ball game. And I mean, Mike, we were excited in the first half because we had nothing but a close game both ways. And all of a sudden, Keyshawn Andrews checks in, the Florida Rain get going, and it is a 72-32 advantage and win for the Florida Rain. Congratulations to them. I mean, there's nothing much to say other than Keyshawn Andrews and our man Zach Spinazzola just going off.
I mean, you kind of covered everything, from the 3-point shooting to the fast break points, the defense, the trap we saw in the first half. Everything just kind of went Florida Rain's way. And Tampa played a good first half until like the final 5 minutes. But I mean, they could build off their momentum, try and play a little more fast-paced game, shoot your good open shots. I mean, they're a good team. Florida Rain just got in their way, and they had a good offense, a good game plan for them overall.
It was a back-and-forth affair in the first half until a momentum shift. The Florida Rain covering all bases on defense and offense, and ultimately Keyshawn Andrews and Zach Spinazzola got their team going, and they never looked back. Again, folks, they still get to play more games today and tomorrow, so there's going to be a lot of highlights coming from this Florida Rain squad, but nonetheless, we've got a lot more games ourselves here on court number 1 here on the Florida Athletics Network. 18:40 until we get set for game number 3. So grab a bev, grab a snack, stick around. Again, happy Saturday, folks. We got a lot more to cover. Billy Adams alongside Mike Zanetti here at the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus of Pasco County. We will be back in about 18 minutes here on our YouTube channel. Again, that's the Florida Athletics Network, folks. Enjoy. And if you're joining us for the only time, thank you so much. But we will see you in about 18 minutes' time.